heated up the bats in Atlanta. The Braves have batted a National League best 300 this month and look to keep the hits coming. But tonight, they face last year's Cy Young winner Tim Lincecum, who last shut down the Braves 4-0. It's the San Francisco Giants and the Braves coming up next. Peachtree TV. And hi again, friends, with Joe Simpson. Chip Caray at the ballpark where the bats have been booming in the first two games of the series. Braves have a 5-1 homestand going, a chance to gain ground on the Phillies and the front-running Rockies in the wild card race. But a real tough matchup for him tonight. The Freak is in town. Tim Lincecum's pitching for the Giants.
And it won't be easy. He has beaten the Braves all 5 times he's pitched against them. The most runs they've ever scored on him was 3. But Tim Lincecum didn't break out of the gates out of high school, really drawing a lot of attention to himself. He was a 48th round pick by Chicago in 03, and then a couple of years later in college, a 42nd round pick. Then all of a sudden he had a great summer in the Cape Cod League, drew a lot of attention to himself. Teams shied away from his mechanics. They thought he would break down because he's so slightly built. Giants didn't think so. He was the 10th overall pick in 06, and a good choice he was. Last season, 18-5. Major League high 265 strikeouts. That also set a San Francisco record. He won the Cy Young Award. He was tremendous from the start of the season to the very end. And against Atlanta already this year, he has been brilliant. He beat the Braves back in late May, worked 8 shutout innings, struck out 8. This guy has the #1 nighttime ERA in the National League, the #3 road ERA in the National League, and since May 21st, he has the second best ERA in the major leagues at 1.39. To say that he's backing up his Cy Young season with a good sophomore, that would be pretty much an understatement.
But the question for the Giants, can they score for Tim Lincecum? He fired a no decision last time out against the Pirates. He struck out 10 men in that game, but they only gave him 1 run with which to work. And Jair Jurgens pitching for Atlanta is no slouch either, Joe. He turned in a all-star worthy first half, but 2 didn't receive much run support.
Yeah, and he's in the top 10 in ERA too. It's going to be a fun matchup to watch. 2 young guys who are on top of their game.
Lots of strikeouts are expected, and hopefully the Braves defensively can match what they did last night, arguably their best glove game of the year last night. And when we come back, we'll talk about that for you as we get you set for the Braves and Giants Game 3 from Atlanta right after this. Baseball night and a great pitching matchup. Jair Jurgens for Atlanta. Tim Lincecum pitching for the Giants. Chip and Joe with you tonight. And one of the most underappreciated parts of a Major League club, Joe, is its defense. Everybody knows how a club hits, how a club pitches. Last night, the Braves' D was awesome, and that's one reason why they're red hot this month.
Go back to 1991. The Braves won that division with pitching and defense, and the good defense lately for Atlanta has certainly contributed to their 12-6 record in July. Last night, they put on a clinic beginning in the first inning with this brilliant double play. But several other guys turned in stellar plays, too. The third baseman, the shortstop, the first baseman, the center fielder. The Braves in April made 14 errors, also made 14 in May. They made 22 errors in June, only 9 this month, and that certainly helped contribute to a lot of wins.
Yeah, so feel the glove indeed tonight at the ballpark in Atlanta. Jair Jurgens for the Braves, Tim Lincecum for the Giants. We'll see if Atlanta can make it 3 in a row over San Francisco, and again, try to gain some ground in 2 playoff races tonight. We'll have the starting lineups and more on a beautiful baseball night from the TED right after this. For our third game of this series between the Braves and Giants, it's time for our Atlanta Center for Cosmetic Dentistry Big Smile Seat Upgrade. Some lucky fans are upgrading their seats. Keep watching to see where their new seats are, and that's sponsored by the Atlanta Center for Cosmetic Dentistry. Again, the humidity is not much of a factor tonight. Beautiful baseball evening, and partner an outstanding pitching matchup. Jair Jurgens for Atlanta going for his 9th win of the year. Tim Lincecum already at 10-2 pitching for the Giants.
Should be a very pleasant night to pitch. As you see, just 83 degrees. I don't know what we did right to get this wonderful weather the last 2 weeks, and especially during this homestand, but it's been absolutely wonderful with lows getting down in the 60s and low humidity. Great for the fans, great for the players, and certainly the Braves have responded with this good homestand. Let's take a look at the batting order for the Giants, brought to you by BB&T, the best bank in town since 1872. Randy Wynn at the top of the order, and his numbers against the Braves ridiculous, a .380 average. He's 22 for his last 40 against Atlanta, dating back to last season. Bowker, Sandoval, and Molina follow him. Scherholtz in right field, followed by Ishikawa. And the bottom third of the order, Uribe, Downs, and Lincecum. You can see that Edgar Renteria gets a night off. Jair Jurgens making his way to the mound to begin his warm-ups. He'll want to avoid some first-inning problems. That seems to be his worst inning. He's given up 9 runs. That's more than any other inning so far this year. This will be his 21st start. His last one, a good one against the Mets. He got a ton of runs to work with. He beat them 11-0. Only had to work 6 innings of 2-hit shutout ball, walked 2, struck out 1. Did not pitch against the Giants out west, but did face them twice last year and lost both decisions. Struck out 10 in 13 innings, however, despite the losses. He's won 2 in a row, and this month, a good one. He's 3-1 with a 2.16 ERA in July. The defense behind him tonight. In the outfield, it'll be Anderson, Nate McLouth, and Church. Good to see Nate back after he came out of last night's game with a strain of the lower back, but he's ready to go. Jones, Escobar, Prado, and Kochman third to first. Brian McCann doing the catching. The umpires for tonight's game behind the plate will be Tim Timmons. The crew chief is at first base. That's Jeff K-E-L-L-O Good Kellogg. Rob Drake at second, and Mark Wegner is at third. Braves 5-1 on the homestand. They'll try to make it 6-1, but as you have said, Chip, it will be tough duty tonight. The Braves are hoping their bats stay hot. They'll need them to be tonight and give Jurgens a little something to work with early.
And perhaps for the first time on this homestand, the importance of scoring first may prove very large in this ballgame. The Giants are not a very good comeback team, and you don't want to find yourself down early or at all against Tim Lincecum with the kind of stuff he has at his disposal. So we'll see what Jurgens is up to in the first as Braves killer Randy Winn is ready to lead things off for the Giants. Winn just wears out Atlanta. 380 lifetime average against the Braves in this series. No different. 4 hits in 7 tries and 2 RBIs out of the leadoff spot. And a fly ball into center. McLouth froze for a moment but gets there and handles a sinking line drive. Good start. 1 man down.
Nate wasn't sure if that ball was going to take off or sink, and it started sinking, and he made a good adjustment. Nice play. Just getting Randy Winn is an accomplishment these days, so a good start for JJ.
Here's John Bowker, who had a great year going down at AAA with the Fresno Grizzlies. He hit .347 down there, but going a little tougher for him at the big league level. He's hitting .200 here with the Giants. And as is so customary on this ball club, it seems like every one of their hitters is down a strike early in the count. They love to swing the bats. He did not swing. 1 ball, 1 strike, says Mark Wegner, the third base umpire.
If you weren't with us last night, Bowker was called up because of his good numbers. Their second baseman, Matt Downs, called up. He had some good numbers and good power numbers. They're hoping those guys supply some long balls.
And they're desperately in need of that. The Giants, despite having the 8th best batting average in the National League, have hit just 63 home runs as a team. That's next to last in the league. They've scored 4 runs a game. That also 15th in the circuit. And they've walked fewer times than any other National League club.
That's not surprising. Not the way they go up there swinging the bat.
But the reason they're over 500, second best ERA in the National League at 3.59, although they were first at the start of this series. The Braves have just battered Dave Righetti's club, scoring 19 runs in the first 2 games of this series.
That's the most runs in back-to-back games against San Francisco this year. Something else about the home runs, too. On the road, they have been out-homered 47-28. Close to a 20-homer disparity there.
So the Giants, as well as they've pitched and as well as they've played defensively, are a power-challenged club. Into shallow center, out goes Yunel Escobar. McLouth calls him off, and 2 harmless fly balls has the Giants down to their last first inning out. And that'll bring up the Kung Fu Panda, Pablo Sandoval. A couple of homers, 8 RBIs in the last 9 games he has played for the Giants. But Atlanta's handled him. 1 for 8 is he. That a 4th inning single last night. They got a couple of guys on this team with good nicknames. That's one of them. The other one's the man pitching, Tim Lincecum. He's the Freak.
Well, the Freak is hoping that the Kung Fu Panda and his pals provide a little run support tonight, because on the road they are not doing it. Only a little over 3 runs a game on the road.
Yeah, they've got to turn it up a notch after tomorrow afternoon's game. As Hoshi's ball club has surrendered the wild card lead. They are 1 full game behind the Rockies, who are winners today now. And that's where they head next. They go to Coors Field to play the resurgent Colorado club, which, as we all know, is extremely dangerous at Coors Field.
We got a first-hand look at the Rockies right before the break. Most would feel the Braves should have taken 3 out of 4 there, settled with a 2-2 split after the loss on Sunday. But they're playing good baseball, the Rockies.
Line into left field, but Garrett Anderson is there. That ball was smoked, but it's 3 up and 3 down for Jurgens in the first inning.
Bobby Cox's lineup, his batting order, brought to you by BB&T, the best bank in town since 1872. McLeod, Prado, Chipper Jones at the first 3 here in the first inning. Brian McCann, this homestand, doing good work, followed by Garrett Anderson and Yunel Escobar, but who hasn't been doing good work on this homestand. They're all swinging the bat well. Kochman, Church, and Jurgens rounded out. And on the mound, Tim Lincecum, 25 years old now, 5'11", all of about 170 pounds maybe. Born in Bellevue, Washington, went to high school in Renton, a suburb of Seattle. 10-2 this year after going 18-5 last year and winning the Cy Young Award.
And he'll face Nate McLeod first, and the first of the night is downstairs to Nate McLeod. What are the special challenges, if any, facing a guy like Tim Lincecum as a major league hitter?
They've got to try to get the ball up a little bit. This guy throws hard, keeps the ball down, but he's got an excellent changeup and slider. And they've just got to make him elevate some pitches, something he doesn't normally do.
An astounding 159 strikeouts and 35 walks. That's the ratio in 134 2/3 innings this year.
Number 1 in the league in strikeouts, number 2 in ERA.
And he hasn't thrown a strike yet.
Number 4 in batting average against him, just .214.
He's allowed 1 run or less in 9 of his 19 starts, 2 runs or less in 12 of his 19 starts. That was his first strike of the game. 3-1 the count to Nate McLeod, who, as you mentioned, left the game late last night with a back problem. Obviously good enough to go in game 3.
Fastball so far. His biggest problem to this point has been a shoestring.
Ball 4. Come on, Nate.
Yep, double knot him. Nope. Just flipped him
Somebody screamed from the crowd. double knot. Try to tell him.
3-2. There's the changeup. It was high, and McLeod couldn't resist. So Lincecum, after falling behind 3-0, strikes out McLeod to start the game.
What makes his changeup so good is the consistency of his motion. It looks just like the fastball motion, big arm action, and the ball just does not get there when you expect it to.
So Martin Prado, the Atlanta hitter, more hits than anybody in baseball this month. Prado has 29 July hits, and his average up a whopping .324 with 5 home runs and 21 knocked in.
Tim Lincecum, when he was growing up in Seattle, probably saw Randy Johnson pitch a lot for Seattle and decided he wanted to wear his hair the same way.
Yeah, but Randy's had a little curl to it. Lincecum's is very straight, wouldn't you say?
I like Tim's better.
Good hitter, come on.
That's more Randy Johnson-esque. With flowing blonde locks.
Boy.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and boy, you have to go through the 2006 draft again and talk about what an inexact science scouting truly is in Major League Baseball. Luke Hochevar was the #1 pick by the Royals that year. Colorado took Greg Reynolds, a pitcher. Tampa Bay took Evan Longoria. Brad Lincoln went to the Pirates. Brandon Morrow to Seattle. Andrew Miller to the Tigers. He's now with Florida. Clayton Kershaw with the Dodgers. Then the Reds in Baltimore took Drew Stubbs and Bill Rowell before Lincecum fell to 10th and into the lap of the Giants. 2 outs.
And who's to say how far he would have fallen if the Giants hadn't taken him?
Yeah.
Because of those drafts we showed you earlier out of high school and college. Bowker, Wynn, and Sherholtz in the outfield for the Giants. Your infield defense, Sandoval, Uribe tonight at shortstop, Downs and Ishikawa on the right side, and Molina doing the catching. The Benji variety.
Chipper Jones strokes the first pitch into left center field for a clean hit, and is aboard with 2 men out.
The night before, Sanchez threw his no-hitter for the Giants. Lincecum had a no-hitter into the, what was it, the 8th inning against the Padres. They didn't have much working those 2 days against the Giants. Padres were scuffling a little. So Chipper makes sure there's none of that tonight.
And how about Chipper, smart enough to know that Lincecum went to the changeup for the out pitch, might want to change the pattern, went up looking for it, got it, and ripped it. So he's aboard in front of a red-hot Brian McCann, who's got a 9-game hitting streak with 11 batted in that stretch.
Back.
There's some guys in the order that have good numbers against him, including Brian. You just saw those. Brian Church is 4 for 6 against him. Now Chipper 4 for 12.
McCann with 28 2-out runs batted in this year. Chipper's running. Got a good jump. The throw is way late. And you heard Bobby Cox scream at the last minute to McCann, take it. He saw the jump that Chipper got. And Chipper Jones has his 2nd steal of the season.
Not paying any attention to him. Good jump for Chipper. Good crossover step. The old third sacker's still got a few stolen bases left in him.
And he's almost caught Brian McCann in the stolen base department this year. 2 outs, runner at second, even count. Fisted over short. It's a base hit, and that'll turn to gold. The Braves will have an early lead. Another 2-out hit, driving in a run for Brian McCann. He's simply amazing.
Like Chipper said last night around the batting cage, I don't know what's going on, and I really don't want to know. But it's all good offensively. Taking advantage of the stolen base, Brian McCann fights one off and puts the Braves on top.
Little things mean big results. A 2-out hit from Chipper, a stolen base with Lincecum working with that long stretch. And then McCann rips one over short. And there is that early lead we were hoping Jurgens would have against this somewhat weak hitting Giants club.
Those 2-out runs in the National League, the Rockies have quite a few more than the Braves in second place, but that was number 191 right there. Pretty good breaking ball that Lincecum just threw Garrett Anderson on the first pitch too, changing his pattern a little bit.
Line to right. That'll drop for a hit. Garrett Anderson 2 for 3 lifetime against Lincecum, and the Braves aren't done yet. 3 straight safeties after 2 opening strikeouts from Lincecum.
I know the first 2 guys struck out, but 3 subsequent base hits and all sharply hit. Cans was fought off a little bit. That gives everybody a little confidence, you know. It's like, you know, you didn't strike out 6 of the first 9 he faced and have you shut down. You're already on the board. Go up there and get after it.
And I think the Braves have found themselves a run-producing shortstop in Yunel Escobar. He has started 4 times coming into play tonight in the number 6 spot in the lineup. He's now 10 for 16, hitting 6th this year. But a good start for Atlanta. Another 2-out RBI for McCann. A 10-game hitting streak for him. And the Braves lead by a run. Our opening inning tonight. Beautiful night at the Chop House. Beautiful night all around the ballpark. Good crowd here tonight. And I would imagine a pretty good walk-up for Tim Lincecum's lone Atlanta appearance in regular season play. And Jair Jurgens got that all-important first inning run in his favor and now goes through the middle of this Giants lineup in the top half of inning number 2. Benji Molina, 11 home runs and 50 RBIs. One of the best hitting catchers in baseball and certainly in the National League too. Leads all National League catchers with that RBI total. Number 1 in extra base hits among catchers. 81 hits so far in 2009.
Quite a talented family of catchers. Yadier, of course, getting the start in the All-Star game for the National League, representing the Cardinals.
And the Cardinals, big game tonight with the Astros. That's Chris Carpenter and Roy Oswalt down at Minute Maid Park. Cardinals also made a trade today with the Red Sox. Didn't see this one coming. Chris Duncan to Boston for Julio Lugo, the shortstop. Broken bat and a foul ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know what? I think he just threw his bat at the ball. I'm not sure it broke.
You know what? I think you're right. It sounded funny when he hit it.
I'm not even sure it was in his hands when he did hit it. That's why it sounded funny. Yeah, that was a little odd. Hadn't Lugo been designated?
He had. Red Sox had 10 days to trade or release him. And a liner back up the middle. Nearly picked off Jurgens on its way to center field. And the Mets were interested apparently in Lugo. In fact, some had said he was working out with their minor league teams. But now he's a Cardinal.
Yeah, don't know that you can do that legally. What we can do legally is tell you it's time for the know-how question of the game, built by the Home Depot. And if you have a question for us tonight, send us an email, and if chosen, we'll answer it later in the game. Send it to braves@peachtreetv.com. Please tell us your name and where you're from. And remember, more saving, more doing. That's the power of Home Depot. I was in there today.
Were you?
Mm-hmm.
Did you pick up any more things?
No. Had my apron on, though. Picked up some Molly bolts, a few light bulbs.
No balls and a strike. I love going to Home Depot too, but it's one of the great mysteries in life. You go in there looking for Molly bolts and light bulbs, and you come out, it's $120 every time.
Pretty much.
How does that happen?
Because you can't not walk down the tool aisle.
Yeah. 2 balls and a strike to Shearholtz. Yeah, you never know when you need an air compressor or a power sprayer or a nail gun or something.
They're so shiny and pretty.
Yeah, yes, yes they are. Fly ball well hit center. McLeod glides back for the first out. Back to first is Molina. Now we know how our wives feel when they go look at purses.
We hear from the truck it's more shoes.
Oh, is it shoes?
Yes.
Okay. Either way.
Nate got turned around a little bit on that line drive, but made a good adjustment to make the catch.
Travis Ishikawa, the hitter.
No panic at all, just a nice turn.
Here's another guy with some real severe road home splits. Ishikawa has not swung the bat well away from San Francisco. Just 2 of his 7 home runs and 8 of his 29 RBIs have come on the road, where he's at $140. Is that a natural progression for young players? Enjoy the home cooking and struggle?
No, I don't think there's. I don't know what you do to put your finger on that. Next year it might be a complete flip-flop. Just one of those odd things. I'm sure there's a comfort level in terms of his routine at home.
1-1 pitch.
You get used to the background in which you're hitting, seeing the ball out of the pitcher's hand, and maybe that gives him some problems when he goes to a strange ballpark. Good looking hitter, though. He'll figure it out.
Okay, he's hitting .262 overall. Respectable. And that's tipped and caught by Brian McCann. So Jurgens has his first strikeout after the leadoff hit. The Giants are down to their last out in the second.
Got him with a high fastball. Leadoff man reached here this inning. Molina on the base hit. That's not unusual for Jair. 1 out of every 3 leadoff men reach against him and put him in a stretch position quite often. That's something he really needs to try to improve on, just to help avoid big innings.
Juan Uribe bats. Edgar Renteria out with a sore elbow. That'll cost him a couple of games for the Giants, apparently. So Uribe, with his .294 average, is .246 at the plate so far in the series. And this might surprise you. He's down in the count 0-2.
Shocked.
There's Edgar. As classy a guy as you'll ever meet. Just a real pro's pro. Players will tell you what a great teammate he was. Yunel Escobar raves about the job Renteria did in mentoring him on what it means to be an everyday shortstop. And what Edgar lacks in range these days, he more than makes up for in veteran knowledge. He's a still top flight big league shortstop.
Well, they're missing him and Aaron Rowan sitting next to him. Rowan was plunked by a pitch in the first inning of the first game. Kept playing with it, but late in the game had to make a couple of throws, and his wrist was killing him. Didn't play last night.
So 2 big bats out of the Giants lineup as McCann handles a short hopper. And the count full, 3-2. We'll see if Molina is off to the races. Kochman looking over to see how Jurgens wants him to align defensively here in a 1-0 Atlanta game. There goes the runner. And a cue shot is well fouled. Cubs helped out the Braves today. They beat the Phillies 10-5 behind Carlos Zambrano up at Citizens Bank Park. That snapped the Phillies' 10-game winning streak. So if the Braves can win today, they'll be 5.5 out of first in the East.
Finally, somebody beat them.
Yeah. Inning over. Jurgens gives up a leadoff hit and nothing else. He leads Tim Lincecum in the second inning.
Kelly Johnson, another good game last night. He went 2 for 4 in his rehab at Gwinnett. He's now hitting .340 on that assignment. Get the perfect balance of health and care at Piedmont Hospital, the preferred health care provider of the Atlanta Braves. Visit piedmonthospital.org.
Have you ever been to Newfoundland?
I have not. Bet it's great.
I would love to go there. I've got a friend who lives in Halifax, Nova Scotia, which is supposed to be absolutely beautiful. And Peachtree TV is on the cable up in the Great White North, all across.
It's pretty big.
Canada.
Pretty big up there.
What?
Peachtree TV.
Oh, yeah. Huge. I mean, JJ could run for prime minister. I think it might win. Just think if you see JJ walking down the street with 4 tickets to a Braves game down by the Rogers Center, I'll bet you people will be jumping at the chance.
Seat upgrade.
Yeah. Jumping. Air Canada flight and head on down south. Ground ball by Casey Kochman gives him a 14-game hit streak.
Guys are being aggressive. Even the 2 strikeouts to start the game were both swinging. His numbers against Atlanta are just ridiculous. 5 starts, 5-0, a 2.08 ERA, 34 2/3 innings, 35 strikeouts.
And Ryan Church, another one of those Braves who's had very good luck, I should say, against Lincecum. He's 4 for 6 in his career.
How about that? He's the National League's top 10 in wins. He's hitting a lofty 450 against him.
Wicked breaking ball, 0-2. And time called by Molina. Big hole right side if Church can pull one that way. Kochman a very short lead.
All right.
A laser of a fastball misses high.
One of the things that he does, Lincecum, that caused the furor over his mechanics that led to the nickname the Freak, is this long stride he takes to the plate. It looks almost double his height.
And I know everybody's seen the MLB public service announcement where it shows Tim Lincecum as a little leaguer in Seattle with the exact same motion taught to him by his dad. His dad watches all of his starts, is able to chronicle every one of his pitches, knows when Tim's in a groove and in sync and when he's not. But the amazing thing about Lincecum, which also has been chronicled, is he's so in control of his arm and in so control of his mechanics. He's never had arm trouble ever. He's never had to even ice his arm after a start.
Well, it's unique to him. Something that he and only he can do and do consistently. I think the story I read, and I could be wrong on this, but something about when he was recruited to college was that he would only go to a school like University of Washington if they agreed not to change his mechanics.
Yeah, and I would imagine, as good as he is at 35-12 lifetime, why so many teams have the tendency to tinker with what got a guy drafted professionally in the first place? Wisely, yeah, they've left him alone. And it's an 0-2 count to Jurgens, trying to advance Casey Kochman here.
Again, he's listed at 170. I'd like to be there when they put him on the scales for that. So I don't know that he's that big. But very long stride to the plate.
I'd like to buy that scale, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me too.
And Jurgens unable to move Kochman along. That's 4 strikeouts for Lincecum. 163 for him this season, and Kochman still at first now with 2 men down.
His ERAs since the beginning of the season, if you're going to get him early. Early like in April when it was over 3.
Yeah.
And again, his last 11 starts dating back to the 21st of May, his ERA is 1.39.
Foul ball by Nate McLeod, who struck out his first time up. At the knees over the outside corner. It's 0-2. Good stop by Molina. Pitch count for Lincecum, 33 of them so far.
Check out this stride, Chip, and how far he lands down the front slope of the mound. Compare that with Jurgens next half inning.
That's right there. McLeod not looking for a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. He got it. Lincecum strikes out the side. Has 5 punch-outs so far in the game. And the Atlanta Center for Cosmetic Dentistry, the place in Atlanta to get a beautiful smile. And those are great seats indeed as the Giants come up in their half of the third inning with Alabama pride Matt Downs going to work first against Jair Jurgens. And the first pitch popped up right side. Kochman takes a peek, has a little room, and hangs on at the rail. One down.
He knew he was getting close. Took that last second look right there. Actually, two of them. Nice play. Braced himself against the railing a little bit, cushion it.
And how
good defense again.
Lands right by that sign that said AP. Awesome play. Here's Lincecum. Throws right, bats left. That's why you see the elbow pad. I mean, he looks like he's fresh off the campus of Milton High School, doesn't he?
He looks like a freshman, you know. If this is a varsity game, it's like a freshman got called up to play with the varsity today.
Pretty good rip.
But you can understand after seeing his mechanics why some teams were a little shy about him, even though he had all kinds of success in high school and then into college, about how it was so unorthodox. Nobody thought he would be able to hold up.
Jurgens handles the toss from Casey Kochman. And two are out for Randy Wynn. Well, as we said at the start of the show, this is a real test for the Atlanta offense to see how good Atlanta really is, or how well Atlanta really is swinging the bat. Pitchers also love these kinds of matchups, too. A chance for Jurgens to go toe-to-toe with a guy that's maybe the best pitcher in our league this year. And Tim Lincecum right now is out pitching him, allowing only one hit to this point. At the Molina single back up the middle in the second inning.
Yeah, I think anytime this happens, a young pitcher wants the challenge. And again, Jair is certainly no slouch. Give him a few more runs to work with. Maybe his record's a little better. Now, his stride is a good foot short of where Lincecum's was landing. And Jair is 6'1". Lincecum is listed at 5'11". The Lincecum stride is so long down that front slope.
Again, you mentioned he's 5'11". With that stride, that's a real serious downward angle he has to try to generate with that right arm. Just think if Lincecum pitched in the air where the mound was higher, and he could just tumble off that mound with that stride and throw even more directly downhill, how much velocity and power he would be able to generate.
I'm not sure where his point of release is. We'll see if we can pick that up. But think about with that long stride, wherever he lets go of the ball, he's not much closer to the plate. That's an advantage.
Line to left, another sharply hit ball, but right at Garrett Anderson. 3 up, 3 down. Tim Lincecum trails Jair Jurgens by a run as we move along to our third inning now. It's the Airtran Airways home run inning. One lucky fan will have a chance to win free airfare for two if the Braves hit a homer this inning. Visit PeachtreeTV.com/Braves for the official rules and enter for your chance to win. At Airtran Airways, go, there's nothing stopping you. And the right men are up for the Braves. They're 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Prado, Chipper Jones, and Brian McCann. Martin Prado, 12 multi-hit games since June 21st. And a liner off the glove of Ishikawa. Around first is Prado. He'll hold on there as Downs hustled over quickly. And that'll be a hit for Prado, his 30th this month. Again, that leads all major league hitters.
4 for 11 in this series, too. Struck out on a pitch away from him his first time up. It looked like a changeup. This time he was sitting on something away and almost got it past Ishikawa for an extra base hit. Lincecum's 2 losses. The first one came his second start of the year at San Diego. Did not pitch well. 5 1/3 innings, 10 hits, 4 runs. The other one, though, the Angels, 8 innings. He gave up 3 runs, no walks, 9 strikeouts. He got beat 4-3.
Come on, Chip.
It's not like he pitched poorly.
Well, he really does have to pitch with, like Jurgens has found out, a minimum of run support this season for San Francisco. This is not a good offensive club, yet Lincecum's won 10 times. And he's got the kind of shutdown stuff we're talking about. Again, allowing 1 run or less in 9 of his 19 starts coming into this game against the Braves. That's single-handedly pitching and playing dominant baseball. Check swing roller. Lincecum stumbles, can't get it. Sandoval stride, got him. Throw back to second and safe. And Chipper breaking toward the bag, might have hit the bag awkwardly with his left ankle. He's hobbling back to the Braves dugout.
It seems like any time there's a play like this where Chipper's got to try to beat out an infield single, it's when he bangs that toe into the bag. Don't know if that was the case there. We'll know soon enough. Let's watch him out of the box here. Favors the left leg, and that was the one that hit the bag.
He almost beat that ball out. Jeff Porter over to ask if Chipper's all right. Appears he is. And now McCann down a quick strike. A 2-out hit for Bryant in the first inning. Chased home Chipper, who singled and stole a base. Twelve RBIs now during Bryant's 10-game hitting streak.
Boy, come on back.
When the Giants give Lincecum 3 or more runs to work with in his career, he's 30-2. Doesn't ask a lot.
No. Never lost with 3. To paraphrase Jack Morris. Or seldom loses with 3 is more accurate, but yeah, he's Tim Hudson-like. When Tim gets the 4-run cushion, he's got very similar numbers to those of Tim Lincecum.
Well, yeah, the two of them have something in common. Lincecum's 35-12 in his career through his first 47 decisions. He's one of only 2 active pitchers to win at least 31 of their first 47 decisions, and the other is Tim Hudson.
Breaking ball, McCann not expecting that. 6 strikeouts for Lincecum.
There's
a breaking ball to the inside part. Good pitch. Max certainly froze on it.
Garrett Anderson with a single his first time up.
Boy, boy. On, Andy. Andy, let's go. Come on.
An occasion where you finally get Lincecum in a hitter's count and you are hoping to get something good to hit, but it's not a guarantee.
Stop.
Ball 3.
First base open, pitch around Anderson to get to the right-handed hitter Escobar, even though Yunel came into the game tearing it up and hitting .413 in the month of July. Tim Lincecum, no home runs to a right-handed hitter in his last 175 innings.
But now has to face one of the game's best hitters with runners in scoring position in the form of Yunel Escobar. Hitting .440 with men at second and third base this year. It's 37 hits and 84 at bats before the start of tonight's play.
On, escape.
Michael Bourne, that's a surprising name on that list.
Uh-huh.
And maybe David Eckstein too.
Boy. On, escape.
You're going to see guys like Pujols drive in runs anyway, Ramirez drive in runs anyway, and yet their numbers with runners in scoring position are almost scary. How often they come through.
Fly ball hammered center field deep. Wind going back. Track. Wall and a long home run.
.413 hitter in July doesn't mean he did it against left-handers. He did it against everybody. Fastball, high fastball, and Lincecum can't get it by him. Straight away center field, about 6 or 8 rows up.
Nice ball. Nice ball, Andy.
That'll end that homerless string against right-handers.
So for a ball club that waited until mid-July to get their first hitter with 10 home runs, all of a sudden Chipper has 11. Brian McCann has 10. Escobar now in double digits.
Okay.
And he breaks this game open, a 4-0 lead over Tim Lincecum.
The Giants have not overcome a 3-run deficit to win all year.
Again, jump in front of this club early, and you have a great chance to beat them. And how about the evolution of Yunel Escobar? 8 hits in his last 13 at-bats with a couple of home runs, and again, Joe, hitting him in the number 6 spot in this lineup. 11 for 17 with a home run and 12 RBIs in 5 games.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. I said this last night. There's a little hop in his step. You see the smile on his face. Talks to his confidant there, Chino Carajilla, who is Cuban as well.
Liner foul, 2 balls, 2 strikes by Casey Kotchman. Well, you said it very well last night. Escobar has a world of talent. He'll do some stuff every now and then that has you scratching your head, but it's not the opposition that's scratching his head as to how to get him out. And Kotchman goes fishing to retire the side. 7th strikeout for Lincecum, but the walk to Garrett Anderson proves very beneficial for Yunel Escobar. Makes a winner of Ken from Marietta in our Air Tran Airways home run inning sweepstakes.
AirTran Airways, go. There's nothing stopping you. Braves are rolling again tonight.
Question. Cobb, Ruth, Johnson, Wagner, and Mathewson were the first 5 inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1936. Again, Ty Cobb, Babe Ruth, Walter Johnson, Honus Wagner, and Christy Mathewson, the first to go in the Hall of Fame. Who received the fewest votes among those 5?
Wow. That's a very good question. As John Bowker starts the 4th. And grounds on 2 quick comes. Casey Kutchman, smooth as silk to the bag is he for out number 1. One of the great quirks, or maybe not so great quirks, of the voting for the Hall of Fame is there's never been a unanimous selection to the Hall of Fame, which just boggles the mind.
It is ridiculous.
Hank Aaron or Joe DiMaggio or Ty Cobb.
Ted Williams.
Yeah, on and on you
I'm
go.
going to guess Ty Cobb had the fewest votes of those 5. And the only reason I'm saying that is because he was so disliked.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, he may have alienated so many writers that they didn't want to vote for him.
And he was, if memory serves, such an ardent competitor that he was the kind of guy that would actually take a file to his spikes and sharpen them before he would play a game in case he had to hook slide into a bag in a major league game with the Tigers. 1 ball, 1 strike to Pablo Sandoval. I mean, you're voting for the Hall. How could you not vote for Babe Ruth? Somehow, some way.
Somebody that had a bone to pick with him about something, I guess.
Chipper to a knee. Takes care of the Kung Fu Panda. 2 out.
This is terrific work here by Jair to go right out, get a couple of quick outs, and get Lincecum back on the mound if he can get Molina.
And this is a perfect lineup for him to face because JJ doesn't walk a lot of guys. He will pitch to contact. And this is a free swinging Giant club that doesn't work the count very often. So all of those things certainly working in his favor. And with a 4-run lead, that affords him the chance to be even more aggressive in the strike zone.
And you can see they're very focused and ready to go right back to work.
Isn't it funny how the baseball gods work? In the month of June, Jurgens got a grand total of 5 runs of support while he was on the mound.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, in the last 4 games in which he's pitched, not counting tonight, the Braves have scored 32 times.
What a difference.
Yes, indeed. So Cobb, Ruth, Johnson, Wagner, Mathewson. I think you're probably right with Ty Cobb, if I had to guess. So I'll hitch my wagon to your answer, if that's okay.
That's quite all right. And again, it's not because I don't think he was deserving. It goes back to your question. How can there not be some unanimous choices? I just think some of the writers had some some kind of problem with some of the players personally and wouldn't give them the vote.
And I know both you and I have spent some time watching the Tigers play in our days covering the American League. The greatest description of Ty Cobb is on a plaque that's now outside of Comerica Park and used to be outside Old Tiger Stadium. It said very simply, Ty Cobb, a genius in spikes. How apropos is that? Jurgens pitching brilliantly with a 4-run lead and beating Tim Lincecum. Wow, what a night for the Braves as we try to answer our Toyota Tacoma trivia quiz.
Who got the fewest votes of the first class that went into the Hall of Fame in 1936? It was Walter Johnson, not Ty Cobb. In fact, Ty Cobb got the most votes that year, 98.2%. He got 222 out of a possible 226 votes. But there were some guys that were omitted that year that make you scratch your head, just like there are these days with the writers, including Cy Young. How did Cy Young not get in? He only got 111 votes, not even half of the voting writers.
Tris Speaker didn't get in the first ballot in the inaugural class. And I'll have to ask Hal, was that the highest percentage? Is Ty Cobb the highest percentage? 222 of 226, the 98.2%. So at least that part is justifiable.
Yeah.
But it's just as political now, I guess, as it was back then. Royston, Georgia's Ty Cobb, the Georgia Peach.
Get on there, come on.
The highest voting percentage in the history of the Hall of Fame, and it is Hall of Fame week. Both Ricky Henderson and Jim Rice will be enshrined in Cooperstown coming up. As Ryan Church to work takes ball 4. Lincecum issues his second walk in this game, go along with 7 strikeouts and a long 3-run Escobar homer.
Brian Church did that last night, leading off an inning in front of the pitcher. Drew a walk in the 4th inning. They got the 4-run inning started against Sadowski. Derek Lowe was able to bunt him over, and then with 2 out, Prado a single, Chipper a walk, McCann the homer. But it was a leadoff walk by Church. He can work the count.
Did you watch Lincecum pitch? Is there anybody against whom you had to bunt that is reminiscent of this kid's stuff or this kid's delivery?
JJ.
Yeah, anybody that threw hard made it hard to bunt, and there were a lot of guys.
And I mean, that sounds like such a simple answer and maybe a dumb question, but
Come on now.
can you see the ball when this guy throws it with that odd windup and that twisting
I don't know.
tornado-like action?
I don't know. I'm sure that's part of his deception, is because he does really kind of turn his body towards shortstop as he's about to throw it, so he does hide the ball well. But anybody will tell you the hardest pitch to bunt is a good high fastball, and he certainly has that.
Throws another one, and JJ backs away. 2 balls and a strike.
Key here is bunt strikes. Don't chase anything. If you set the bat level, parallel to the ground at the top of the strike zone, then you know anything above that's a ball. Don't bunt at it.
Braves are one of the best bunting teams in the league. 48 sacrifices coming in. That's 3rd most in the National League. And there's a strike. I was mistaken when I mentioned that Ty Cobb had the highest percentage in votes. That's not true. He has the highest percentage of votes among players inaugurated before 1950 in Hall of Fame annals, as Jurgens punts back to the pitcher for the first out. Tom Seaver has the highest percentage overall.
Watch the location. He sets the bat at the top of the strike zone and then went up to that pitch. The bat went up to get it and caused the pop up, and JJ's 0 for 2 in the bunting department.
So yeah, Tom Seaver, highest percentage ever. Nolan Ryan 2nd, Cal Ripken Jr. 3rd. 8 people actually didn't vote for Cal Ripken. 6 didn't vote for Nolan Ryan, and 5 didn't vote for Tom Seaver.
Okay, I'm going to understand the Nolan Ryan. These people had some problem with all the losses that he incurred.
Yeah.
But Cal Ripken, what did he do wrong?
Maybe he took playing time from one of the writer's shortstop nephews.
What did he not accomplish that upset some people?
Well, for fans in Atlanta, here's an even greater absurdity. Henry Aaron, 406 out of 415 Hall of Fame votes. Babe Ruth, 215 of 226. Wow. 11 people didn't vote for Babe Ruth. One ball, 1 strike.
Now it's time to take a look at the SunTrust Solid Performers, brought to you by SunTrust. Live solid, bank solid. The best National League ERA with at least 15 starts. And both Lincecum and Jurgens in that mix.
There's a bullet hit by McLeod. That's off the fence. A stand-up double, and boy, the Braves are walloping Tim Lincecum in this game.
The Braves have done everything so well this month offensively. Little things, moving runners over and what have you. A lot of extra base hits, but here's a case where the failure to get a bunt down cost him a run. I'm not saying it's easy to bunt Tim Lincecum because of that high fastball, but if Jurgens gets the bunt down, he has another run to work with.
Well, they're just waiting until there are 2 outs to score, which is what they've done all year long. And in this series, last 9 runs the Braves have scored have come with 2 outs.
This is not something Dave Righetti does on a very regular basis. Have to go out in the 4th inning to talk to Tim Lincecum. Brandon Mellors, who pitched so well here last night in an inning of work, he's loosening up.
So Martin Prado, the batter for Atlanta. Tim Lincecum came in with a 227 earned run average. And the infield has to come in for Prado. Lincecum 2nd to Dan Herron. He's given up 4 earned runs so far. And the Braves aren't done yet.
Get that guy in from 3rd. Let Chipper get the other guy in.
5 runs is the most Lincecum has given up this year. And a little flare off Prado's bat will stay in play. Had him reaching, and Lincecum gets a big pop out.
That's one of the few times in recent memory that we've seen Martin have a plan, looking for a pitch, and then still try to adjust to something else, even though he wasn't behind in the count. Looked like he was expecting something that he could pull or looking to pull, and then he got a breaking ball and still swung at it. See how everything had broken down already. Watch his back leg. His hips had opened, and that's something we haven't seen him do.
So Chipper's up with 2 outs. Infield can back up for him, and Lincecum stays away with ball 1. Don't have it at the fingertips tonight, but I think the most runs Lincecum's ever given up in a game would be.
Good changeup. He can go from 94, 95 to 81 with the changeup.
Al tells us the most runs Tim's ever given up in a single big league game is 7. Long ball here would make it lucky 7 for the Braves. 4-0 Atlanta.
He's pitching a little backwards. Behind in the count, throwing breaking balls, and he gets ahead. He's elevating the fastball and seeing if the hitters will chase.
Line drive right field. Get on ball. Diving stop. Scherholtz makes the play. And Lincecum shaking his head. The Braves have tattooed him through 4 innings. A great catch saved at least 1 run, but the Braves in command after 4.
Atlanta-based Jamieson Inns ranked #1 in guest service nationwide for 5 straight years. Check into Jamieson Inns and experience our new Pillow Top premium beds and the best in Southern hospitality. Jamieson Inns, you deserve a new deal.
Well, they're having a great time at Tuner Field tonight. And the Braves have made this big league park feel like a little league park. They've just walloped the Giants in this series. 4 more runs and 7 more hits after 4 innings tonight. Jurgens has retired 9 consecutive men. And he'll face Nate Scherholtz, who made a fine diving catch to end the Atlanta 4th just a moment ago.
Yeah, that was huge. That may have saved Lincecum from coming out of the game. And it's not like he doesn't have his best stuff tonight. It's not like he's made a bunch of mistakes. He struck out 8. The Braves are hot. And they are wearing out everybody.
And that goes to the point we've talked about tonight. This is a real true test of where the Braves truly are offensively. I think you face the Cy Young winner. He has the kind of stuff that can just simply shut down a really good offense, and if you're not at the top of your game, he can flat out embarrass you. But excellent approaches by the Atlanta club. More 2-out hitting for them. He's gotten his strikeouts for sure, but when he's made a mistake, the Braves have not missed it yet.
and it's 7 strikeouts, not 8. My mistake there.
1-2 to Schierholtz,
who's wearing out the pine tar on his bat just above his hands because he was fighting everything off right around there.
He has so much pine tar on it. You hit that spot, the ball might just stick to the bat.
Velcro.
Over the outside corner for a called third strike. 10 in a row are retired by Jurgens. That's his third strikeout.
12 out of 13 also set down. The only base runner to reach. Good fastball on the corner. And the base hit by Molina leading off the second, the only runner.
And it wasn't a cheapie. It was a bullet right back through the box. Travis Ishikawa struck out his first time up. And has a feeble swing. Another big trade in baseball tonight. Pirates continue dismantling their club. They sent Adam LaRoche to the Red Sox for 2 minor leaguers. They also, as we told you, traded Julio Lugo to the Cardinals for Chris Duncan. A little pop on the infield. That's easy for Chipper Jones inside the bag at third. 2 outs, and 11 in a row are down.
Red Sox really scuffling this month, especially offensively. They're hitting, what was it, half 240? 226, even worse.
And they've lost 4 in a row. They're a game and a half behind the first place Yankees, who won for the 6th straight time today. They knocked off Baltimore. Theo Epstein had a very interesting quote today when he talked about the moves the Red Sox made. He said, look, we've got a chance for a very inexpensive cost to upgrade and provide ourselves an offensive player, and in the case of Chris Duncan, 2 of them, but it also allows them the flexibility to target other needs. And with the way they're accumulating players, could the Red Sox be under the radar suitors for Roy Halladay and Toronto?
I can see that happening. They're one of the few that could afford him. Can also see the Pirates. The key to that deal coming back from Boston was Argenis Diaz, the shortstop, top-notch prospect. That frees up Jack Wilson if they want to move him.
Yep. And Freddie Sanchez, too, who also turned down what they felt below market contract extension offered by the Pirates last week. The trade deadline before waivers is 9 days from tonight.
I'm not a scout, and I may be a real poor evaluator, but I think Freddie Sanchez is a terrific player, and I can't believe that some clubs haven't really been beating the Pirates' door down trying to pry him away. An excellent offensive middle infielder.
Well, the Giants were apparently interested in Sanchez. That ball in the dirt, and Uribe is out on a check swing strikeout. 12 up, 12 down for Jair Jurgens. Middle of the 5th inning, all Atlanta offensively tonight.
presented by authority of the Atlanta Braves and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.
A one-hit shutout being twirled by Jair Jurgens tonight. We told you at the start of the show this was a great matchup of two outstanding young National League pitchers. And many around the country probably looked at the stats, looked at the one-loss record, and said, well, if anybody throws the shutout, it's Tim Lincecum. Hasn't worked out that way. The Braves have touched him up for 4 runs, 7 hits. The big blow, a Yunel Escobar third-inning home run with 2 outs. It scored 3 runs.
All right. Back.
And McCann strikes out for the 2nd time in the game. You almost never see that out of Brian.
No, but it's deception again. I mean, when he's in his windup especially, he just jumps at you and then there's an off-speed pitch. Let's see where he lets this ball go. If we can stop it right there. Okay, now look at the distance there between the pitching rubber and the point of release. I mean, the way he strides down the mound, he's getting a good 4 or 5 feet down the slope at the point of release. It's a huge advantage. Not that everybody doesn't release it in front of the pitching rubber. They do. But that's part of what makes him real effective. Throws hard.
Yep.
And then the long stride, it appears that he's jumping at you. His off-speed pitch then becomes that much more effective.
And I don't know the answer to this question, but I wonder, between Tim Lincecum and Randy Johnson, who are polar opposite as far as the height spectrum is concerned, I wonder whose foot ends up closer to the plate at release of this Giants club.
That's a good question. That's a good question, and if you told me it was Lincecum, I'd believe you.
Falls with Garrett Anderson, who's been on base 2 more times tonight. And launches 1 foul out of play. The Braves, as we showed you too, club that has just struggled most of the first half of the season, has been on fire this month. The Braves with the top National League batting average in July, a collective 300 mark, second only to the Angels in all of baseball with that batting average. Ishikawa takes it himself, 2nd out.
We'll couple that with the fact that since the second half, so-called second half started, the Braves ERA is right around 2 or a little below. You're going to win a few ball games.
That's it. It's funny. It just, the more you talk about one facet of the game, the more you learn that it's really all intermingled and intertwined and interdependent. If your pitchers give up 2 runs, you know you only need to score 3 to win. If your defense saves a couple of runs, takes pressure off your offense. If your offense scores 8, takes pressure off everybody. And right now the Braves are in the middle of that stretch that we've been looking for all summer long. And that is great pitching, splendid defense, and as we've said a couple of times with 2 outs, just great clutch hitting.
And that's what it's going to take when you're down now 6 games to the Phillies, depending on the outcome of this game here in Atlanta. Could be 5.5. I mean, that's what you got to do to run down the world champions. I saw a note today that they were the first defending World Series champion to have a 10-game winning streak since 1940-something, 43, I think.
That's a strike at the knees, and Escobar wasn't sure about that. But Tim Lincecum has his 9th strikeout, and he also has his first 1-2-3 inning in this
Upcoming schedule brought to you by AirTran Airways. Go, there's nothing stopping you from flying off into the sunset. One more game with the Giants tomorrow in Sports South. Be on the air at 1 o'clock. John Shambi and I will have that for you. And then on to Milwaukee, 3 with the Brewers. A day off next Monday, and then 3 down in Florida with the Marlins.
John's hair kind of matched that sunset, by the way.
It did indeed.
Just for the record.
Our next Peachtree game, the 31st, last day of the month. Hope you'll make your plans to be with us.
It's a little redder than that, however. John's hair, that is. Strike 2.
It's more fiery.
Yes, like volcanic.
Yeah,
that'd be one way to.
That was Chip.
Who Loves You Boo going to the count to Matt Downs, the second baseman out of the University of Alabama. And that's popped back into the upper deck. And out of play. Looks like the Braves have knocked Lincecum out of the game. Fred Lewis on deck.
He was closing in on 90 pitches at the end of the inning. Not sure he got there, but it was a battle for him tonight. Braves offense giving him more than he could handle.
Jurgens 47 strikes, 20 balls so far in his 5 innings plus. That ball skips up there. The Rockies were winners earlier today. They beat the Diamondbacks 4-3. Houston Street, his 24th save for the surging Colorado club. And with that win, the Rockies have at the moment a 1-game lead over the Giants. Could be a game and a half if the Braves finish them off here.
The schedule showed the Florida Marlins and San Diego playing a night game. They actually played a day game, and Florida won. But San Diego's got to fly across the country and play a makeup game tomorrow night in Philadelphia. I'm not sure where they play after that, where they're on their way to. But that's tough duty. Rockies 34-15 under Jim Tracy. That's a managerial change that worked out great.
Manager of the year
at this point.
I mean, taking nothing away from the job Joe Torre's done, or Tony La Russa, or Charlie Manuel, the defending world champions. We saw Colorado in Atlanta. They were left for dead. They were going nowhere. And the Rockies 19 games over 500. And down on strikes is Downs. A good battle won by Jurgens. His 5th strikeout, 13th Giant in a row retired. And Fred Lewis bats for Lincecum, who's out of this game.
He got him with a changeup. And Downs trying to pull it, couldn't reach it.
Tim Lincecum, 5 innings, 4 runs. He struck out 9. He walked 2.
Shortest outing of the year.
And 7 hits. A 2.27 ERA will jump up rather dramatically.
Take it back. His first start of the year on April 7th. 3 innings. Got no decision.
So Fred Lewis, who has not been all that productive this year, just 4 homers, 12 RBIs. Pinch hits in this 6th inning. Well, we saw it all June long with Lowe and Kawakami and Jurgens. When your best pitchers are on the mound and you don't score, you're going to have trouble winning, because oftentimes the way the rotation sets up, the 1, 2, 2s and 3s hook up with the 1, 2s and 3s of the other club. And that's dropped by McCann. Tough break. It was in the leather and popped right out.
Question there was whether or not Brian was about to throw the ball. I think Fred Lewis thought it was a foul tip out of the glove at first, but not so.
And clearly you see Brian went into the glove, so that's strikeout. So 14 in a row. And 6 in the game. Derek Lowe has always been a second half pitcher. Jurgens has kept the Braves in virtually every game in which he's pitched. Kawakami has pitched much more effectively the second time through the league. Tommy Hanson is unbeaten as a major league starter.
A lot of good things to talk about, huh?
Man. And as we said last night, the Braves play more games within their division, the East, than any other team in baseball. And so with a lot of games left with the Phillies, the Marlins, and the Washington Nationals, a handful with the Mets too, all players will tell you is they want to have a chance to control their own destiny in August and September, and it appears the Braves are going to have that chance.
Shook off Brian McCann to throw that change up, but a little too low there to get him to chase it. Last year the Braves were very protective of Jurgens near the end of the year because he'd never pitched that many innings before in his career. This year may be a little different story. He's stronger, more experienced.
And he just struck out the side. He has struck out 5 of the last 6 Giant hitters. He's retired 15 in a row and is in complete command against the reigning Cy Young Award winner.
Three chances to watch Will Smith, Kevin James in the Peachtree TV premiere of Hitch, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on Peachtree TV.
Beautiful night in Atlanta. The Braves have chased Tim Lincecum. And longtime veteran Bobby Howry is on for the 37th time. Despite an 0-5 record, his earned run average in the mid-3s. And a near 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio for the Giants right-hander.
I know it sounds kind of maybe a stretch and kind of silly, but on a night when Lincecum pitches, bullpen's not ready to come in the game right here.
Yes.
Mentally, I mean, it's like, wow, seriously, they want us up now? I mean, is he really in trouble?
5 innings?
Yeah.
Well, keep adding on. You never know in this game. Let's see what Kochman, Church, and Jurgens can do against Bob Howry. Spent the last couple of years in the Cubs bullpen. Now he's with the Giants. And delivers a little bit low. 1 ball, no strikes. Nationals beating the Mets 3-1. Jim Riggleman finally got his first win as the interim Nationals manager. Wonder if the Nationals will trade Kearns or Dunn or
they'd trade Austin Kearns in a heartbeat.
Nick Johnson.
Somebody to take him.
Maybe, or will they, I guess, is a better question.
Would they be able to on the Kearns part?
And are you concerned at all that you believe everything on the internet or in the newspapers that Not a lot of movement so far in their race to sign Strasburg after drafting him number 1.
Well, I heard a quote today from Mike Rizzo, who said that there might be a lot going on that you don't know about.
Which is probably the best way to handle it.
I don't know if he has put a gag order on anyone talking about those negotiations, but I'm hoping for Nationals fans' sake that they are talking.
Yeah, if they don't get that done, they might need a gag, a blindfold, and a cigarette for the front office.
Yeah.
After not signing the number 1 pick last year. But the Nationals have the pieces in place for a pretty exciting young rotation. Pitching's been okay this the last couple of weeks. But you've got an interim manager, you have an interim general manager, and you have a team that's won 27 and lost 66 games. Kochman down on strikes, 1 away in the 6th.
Pretty good fastball from Howery there. Kind of went up above Casey's hands and tied him up.
Cardinals and Astros, no score in the 4th inning, as you'd expect. Not much hitting going on with Chris Carpenter and Roy Oswalt working. That's a very big game in that Central Division race. The Cardinals lead the Astros by a mere 2 games. The Cubs, as we told you, already won. If the Cardinals lose that one, Chicago would be a game out.
So would Houston.
Yep. Milwaukee fell earlier today in their battle with the Pittsburgh Pirates. All of a sudden, Milwaukee can't hit much. They scored a bunch of runs today, but Brewers having a few hiccups in the month of July. 0-1 to Ryan Church. Now 0-2 to him.
Braves might be catching them at the right time.
That's where the Braves head next. A 3-game series at Miller Park. Brewers are without Dave Bush. That's a big loss for them in the middle of that rotation. But they do have Trevor Hoffman, and he continues to deal, and you know about that Milwaukee offense, especially Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder. They added Felipe Lopez, by the way, too, to play second base for them.
It's a nice pickup. Braves will face Manny Parra, Giovanni Gallardo, and Braden Looper. That 3-game set after seeing Barry Zito tomorrow in the Business Fan Special.
Right on him, kid. Come on, Brian.
Tigers lead Seattle 1-0. That game's in the 4th inning at Comerica Park. Tigers by 2 games over the White Sox. Red Sox and Rangers, no score in the 2nd. Clay Buchholz on the mound for Boston. White Sox and Tampa Bay, no score in the 3rd inning. And Church takes a called 3rd strike. Boy, a lot of punch outs in this game. Braves have struck out 11 times between Lincecum and Howery combined.
Great pitch from Howery. Just burned the corner. Had jammed Ryan on the pitch before that he fouled back. So had him set up for that. Well done.
And my nominee for the weirdest series of the year goes to the Twins and the Athletics. Remember, Minnesota blew a 10-run lead the other day. Well, today Oakland beat them 16-1.
Grief.
And a wrap up there. Trevor Cahill beat Glenn Perkins. Twins just 6 hits, 2 errors. The Oakland club scored 12 runs in the first 2 innings tonight.
Make it live.
That's a little outside. 1-2.
Again, last night I corrected some information I was given regarding the Business Fan Special, and that has to do with the Wi-Fi here at the ballpark. You're free to bring your computer, but it only works in the press box or the camera wells.
Little flare, but it's going to be caught. 3 up, 3 down for Bobby Howery. We go to the 7th inning.
of Coca-Cola. Where else but the world of Coca-Cola could jog a 7-foot tall polar bear? Take home a free 8-ounce glass bottle of Coke produced on site and taste over 60 different beverages from around the world. Make plans to visit the world of Coca-Cola today.
Well, there's plenty of happiness around Turner Field, I guess you could say, huh? 4-0. Jurgens a one-hitter.
Andy has set down 15 in a row.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty good, too.
That's pretty good. It's 4-4 at home. Again, it's kind of in keeping with his overall record, the fact that his record's right around 500, but his ERA at home, 2.69. No walks tonight.
And again, it plays right into the hands of Jurgens the way this Giant club swings the bat.
Yeah.
And doesn't work the count. They have walked fewer times than any team in the National League, 210 times in 93 games. So you really have to work hard to throw a ball forward to this group. 0-2.
Right-handers came into the game against Jurgens hitting 189. That was the 4th lowest mark in the major leagues. And the only hit they have tonight, the Giants, came from Molina, a right-handed hitter.
Think the Tigers would do a do-over of Gorkys Hernandez and Jair Jurgens for Edgar Renteria?
They might answer the phone, yes. Not sure the Braves will.
1-2 count. Just missed the inside corner. Yeah, that was a fantastic trade before the 2008 season. You mentioned JJ, 31 starts, 188 innings, and a 13-10 record. After a 3-1 start for the Tigers in 7 starts in 07. And he avoids the bat, finds the ball. 16 up, 16 down.
But I'll admit to you, Chip, that when that deal was made, I was familiar with a lot of the Tigers starters, Verlander, Bonderman, etc. I did not know anything about Jair Jurgens, so I'm thinking, who'd we get?
Yeah.
I know now.
Yeah, so does the rest of the league. Pablo Sandoval is 1 for 10 in the series. I wonder what percentage, and I'm not a big numbers guy, as you know, but I wonder what percentage of the Giants hitters this year are down a strike.
A bunch of them, and quite often.
Yes. I don't know if there's, I'm sure there's a stat or a program to find that out, but you know, as a hitter, ball 1, strike 1, huge difference in your approach and how you go after a hitter.
Carney Lansford was lamenting that point to me before the series started. And I think for most hitting coaches, and I think Terry Pendleton would say the same thing to you, it's okay if you're swinging at strikes. You know, if it's okay to be aggressive, certainly as long as that first pitch is a strike, you're getting a good look at it, a good swing.
Yeah, if you swing at a strike and you miss it.
Yeah. Carney's quite a hitter himself. Again, a batting title on his shelf.
That one close to the zone. Sandoval swung over the top of it. That's 8 strikeouts and 17 hitters in a row are out.
He is dealing. Fans, tomorrow is the Braves Business Fan Special, as we've been talking about. So take the day off from work or make it a 9-inning lunch break and head to Turner Field to see the Braves take on the Giants. Game time, first pitch, 1:10. First 10,000 fans will receive a navy blue Braves replica road cap. For tickets, visit braves.com/tickets or call 1-800-745-3000. Barry Zito against Kenshin Kawakami.
So another good matchup. Then it's off to Milwaukee, or Milwaukee if you don't speak out loud, or even if you do.
Didn't realize that's what that was.
Obviously didn't see Wayne's World when Alice Cooper ever so eloquently said Milwaukee, the good land.
Barry Zito's got that Woolworths pitching record this year. Five and 10,
I guess. 2 balls in the strike.
You with me?
I am now. Well, Dr. No Hal Galema found out how many times the Giants had an 0-1 count. 298 times coming into play in this series. But look at what they're hitting on an 0-1 count. It's a rather surprising number.
366.
Down strike one, they're hitting 360. Yikes. See what Molina does on a 2-2 count. He has the only hit for the Giants. Ground ball, he has both hits. So Jurgens will have to go to the stretch for the first time since the second inning after an incredible run of good pitching and good fortune.
Just out of the reach of Chipper.
Here's Scherholtz. He's lined out and struck out tonight.
And made a great catch to save a couple of runs.
And you hope those don't come back to cost you in this game tonight. Strike one.
It's been a long time since I've seen a hitter use a real bat-handled bat. And if Nate Scherholtz had one tonight, he'd already be 2 for 2.
No gloves. Old-fashioned approach at the plate. 0-2 your count.
His reason for no gloves might be similar to that of George Brett, who years ago said he didn't like gloves because he couldn't feel the bat.
Swing and a miss. Struck him out. That's 9 in the game. Nothing your score, bottom of the 7th inning in Atlanta. What a night for Jair Jurgens, a 2-hit shutout with 9 strikeouts at one point, retired 17 consecutive San Francisco hitters as he guns for his 9th win of this 2009 season. Top of the order coming up for the Braves. It'll be McLeod, Martin Prado, And Chipper Jones as we take a look at our Longboat Key scorecard, brought to you by the Longboat Key Club and Resort. Plan the perfect summer getaway today at longboatkeyclub.com.
Great place.
Come on, Nate.
Nate McLeod has doubled in 3 trips. Has but 2 hits on the homestand. And takes a little low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Giants have not won a game when trailing by 3 runs or more all year. We told you that. It's getting awfully late for them. 4-0 Atlanta in front.
Come on now. Come on, kid.
Tim Lincecum allowed his first home run to a right-handed batter in 175 innings when Yunel Escobar took him out of the park in the 3rd inning. That was after they pitched around Garrett Anderson with 2 outs, walked him, and then Escobar hit his 10th homer.
Key point in the ball game was walking Garrett Anderson.
And McLeod swings at a ball in the dirt. He thought he tipped it, but he'll take a right turn for the first out.
Meanwhile, Bobby Howry in his last 2 outings, not very effective. He's given up a run in each, at least 1 run in each of his last 2 outings. And tonight, he struck out 3 of the 4 guys he's faced and looked unhittable. He's bounced back and looked very good, trying to hold the Braves to give the offense a chance for the Giants.
Martin Prado has singled and scored in 3 trips. He's continued his great work at second base for the Braves. And he looks at the ball
Prado,
low,
let's
1
go.
ball,
Come on.
no strikes. Big Braves fans Rick Vermerstedt and Maria Salgado watching the ball game down in Orlando, Florida tonight. Hoping the Braves can make it 3 in a row over the San Francisco Giants.
How far is it from Orlando to Longboat Key?
A couple hours, I think. If my friend Rick is driving, about 15 minutes.
Okay.
Two balls, no strikes. Liner into right, but Shearholt's coming on again. Makes a good catch. Howry is set down 5 in a row. One vowel, one consonant, all that separates Nate Shearholtz from the Braves president.
That's right.
Here's Chipper. His flying feet helped the Braves score their first run of the game. Again, it came with 2 outs.
But it was a point that he made about needing an early run and how that kind of set the tone for the offense. And everybody was very aggressive against Lincecum from that point forward. And while they didn't score in the 2nd inning, they had him in a little bit of trouble and then got 3 in the 3rd on the home run.
And Lincecum knows if he falls behind early, his club doesn't score many runs. And with that long and exaggerated, I guess you could say, move to the plate, he is a guy that you can take advantage of on the base paths. And Chipper, as he so often does in the batter's box, was able to take advantage of that on the base paths too. And McCann's single chased him home in the 1st inning. Chipper was tied up there, wasn't he?
Doesn't happen often.
Nice crowd tonight of 34,672.
That's a great crowd. I'll bet there has been a lot of walk up tonight.
Roll to the right side. Ishikawa handles a tricky hop, and Howry a fine play. 6 up, 6 down for him in relief of Tim Lincecum. We head to the 8th inning.
from Parry Sound, Ontario, home of Bobby Orr, the hockey player. Question is, what is the meal of choice for Bobby Cox while he's on the road? I can tell you this, Matt, he loves a good steak dinner, and he loves going to Morton's Steakhouse when he's on the road. So I'm going to volunteer that.
Travis Ishikawa is the hitter. 1 ball, no strikes. And if Bobby can't get a good steak, he'll eat anything, anywhere, as long as the Braves win. And they are rolling again tonight. I bet Bobby likes barbecue, too.
We thank Matt Mahoney for that question.
Yes.
It was a good one.
Pop fly foul by Ishikawa. 2 balls and a strike. What do you like to eat on the road?
I'm kind of like Bobby. If we have a night off after a day game or a day off on the road, I love going to have a good steak dinner. A little cotton candy on the side wouldn't hurt.
It's bounced off the plate foul.
Bob Brenly, on the other hand, loves a good Mexican
Yes.
meal when he's on the road. He loves Mexican food, I've been told.
Yes. Two balls, 2 strikes.
It's good to see Bob the other night.
Yeah. He is very, very versatile, isn't he?
Quick.
Yeah. Ouch. That fouled off the plate and hit him in the head. Sent the helmet flying.
My. Another reason not to try to pull a sinker running away from it. Looks like he's all right. Oh, good pitch.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Jurgen's career high is 10 strikeouts, by the way, set last September 11th against the Rockies. And he has 9 so far in tonight's game. His pitch count now up over 100. Braves pen is busy. Gonzalez, the lefty on the right. Moylan, the righty on the left.
Jeremy Affeldt, a lefty, is in the bullpen warming up for the Giants.
High towering fly ball to left. Can of corn for Garrett Anderson. He's got it, 1 out. Juan Uribe bats. He's been struck out twice in the game.
How about the Mets getting shut out again last night? Man, oh man. That's 8 times they've been shut out in their last 3 games after getting shut out once in their first 60.
Yeah, they've got a mess on their hands. They really do.
Did you hear what happened with the Tony Bernazard thing?
I read it online before the ball game. Apparently, Tony Bernazard, the assistant general manager, went down to their AA ball club and had a very, very angry confrontation with the AA club. And in reading the published reports, there had been some allegations of underage drinking on that team, and Bernazard, I believe, went down to tell those players that that in no way was acceptable in any way, shape, or form. But the published reports said that as Uribe launches that ball deep left field, nobody's going to get that. It's high off the fence, and Uribe very slowly around first finds his way at second with a long 1-out double.
Gone into his trot.
Yep, he thought it left the park, and frankly is shocked that it didn't.
I'm kind of surprised it didn't too. I thought it was out of here. Hanging slider, one of the few, if maybe the first mistake he's made tonight. Hit that right off the noggin of Harry Wright out there. But it came back into play.
So Roger McDowell out for a chat.
No, but allegedly, Bernazard, challenged everybody in the clubhouse to a fight, was tearing his shirt off, and anybody that wanted to fight him. This is the assistant GM.
Yeah. And again, we weren't there, so
allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly, but that's
the reports. Wow.
Yeah, that's why we say, or at least I did, the Mets have much bigger issues than what's going on with the Major League club, and certainly it's been a frustrating year for them with all the injuries. Who would have thought that Carlos Delgado, who had hip surgery, may be back before Jose Reyes comes back with a hamstring problem. Fly ball to right by Matt Downs that chases Ryan Church back. And Uribe will tag and make his way to third, but with 2 outs. So Andres Torres bats for Howery, who turned in 2 perfect innings in relief, and Torres will try to get the Giants on the scoreboard here in the 8th inning.
And again, a little short-handed with Renteria's elbow bothering him and the wrist of Aaron Rowan an issue. Those guys are both still on the active roster, but apparently not available.
And you've got Eli Whiteside, the backup catcher, I presume the last bench player available now that Fred Lewis and Torres have been used. And only 1 inning of baseball left, barring a huge Giants comeback. Low, ball 2 to Torres. You don't want to mess around too much now. You're flirting with the top of this Giants order, and they can hurt you if you're not careful. 4-0 is your score.
That was a pretty good pitch, too. Zone is tightened up a little.
And you've got Randy Wynn, who has punished Atlanta's pitching all year on deck. He could make it very interesting very quickly, and he's a switch hitter. One would think this would be the last hitter Jurgens would be allowed to face. But we shall see. And he does something almost impossible to do. He walks a Giant hitter. So the runners are at the corners with 2 out. Indeed, that's going to be all for Jurgens. 112 pitches on the night. He fires a 3-hit shutout to this point. And listen to the crowd in Atlanta saluting Jurgens, who outgunned and outdueled Tim Lincecum in Game 3 tonight in Atlanta.
Whole infield coming in to pat him on the back, too.
And a slight tip of the cap from the 23-year-old from Curacao. He was outstanding. Mike Gonzalez on now for Atlanta. Top of the Giant order coming up as this call to the bullpen brought to you by AT&T. Your world delivered.
Going to want to watch the great movie giveaway right here on Peachtree TV. You could win an Xbox Pro or the grand prize, a Sony home theater system. Now, here's how you're going to win. Just watch the movie Hitch this Friday, Saturday, or Sunday and look for the keyword of the day. Text the keyword to 89332 for your chance to win. It's the great movie giveaway this weekend right here on Peachtree TV. Go Braves!
There's a look at Mike Gonzalez trying to close out this 8th inning for Atlanta. He'll turn Randy Wynn around and make him hit from the right side, as the Giants have runners at the corners with 2 outs, trailing 4-0. This is far and away the weaker side for Wynn. Just 10 hits and 70 tries. That is a 143 batting average. He's hitting over twice that as a left-handed batter.
And was very tardy on that Gonzalez fastball. Mike's worked twice since he had that rest through the All-Star break. Good results against both the Mets and the Giants. 2 innings of hitless ball.
As good as the Braves starting pitching has been, are you concerned about the workloads of guys like Gonzalez and Moylan and O'Flaherty?
I am, but I think what happened there near the end of the break gave Bobby and Roger some confidence in some of those other guys, like Acosta and like Boone Logan specifically. Those 2 guys did a good job filling in for O'Flaherty and Gonzalez. And at times, Peter Moylan.
0-2 count to Win. High pop fly, mile high left side. And no chance for Chipper. Has that ball into the seats.
Unell came over too, just to say hello.
Or Ola, whichever.
Oh, yeah. He's working on his English.
Yes. By the way, we were at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta today. Brian McCann, Fernando Palacios, Yunel Escobar, and I with the Braves, meeting some of the sick kids. And that guy showed me something today. Yunel Escobar was absolutely beaming. The kids were great with him, and he with they. And again, we've talked about how sometimes he'll do something that just leaves you scratching your head. If you wanted to see what kind of a human being Yunel Escobar was, you should have seen him today with Christmas in July with the Braves. He and Brian McCann and the rest of the gang were just great.
Always a great day.
1-2 count instead over the first. Escobar said today, every time I step into the batter's box, I'm going to think about these kids and what I saw today. And all of them put a smile on our faces. And Escobar was beaming from ear to ear. So
outstanding.
Tip of the cap to him. Little dribbler hit toward Chipper. Tough play with Wynn running. Throw! Not in time. Giants are on the board, and they'll bring the tying run to the plate. Infield hit for Wynn. Scores Uribe. Torres at second, and now speed aboard for the Giants. John Bowker coming up.
How about that? Wynn still gets a hit, and not only that, he drives in a run. Chipper did everything he could. Gonzalez made a good pitch, sawed him off. They're on the board.
And the Giants now will go to the bench. It's going to be Aaron Rowan now to face Mike Gonzalez. And nobody up in the Braves bullpen. So it's going to be Rowan, the righty, against Gonzalez, the lefty.
Moylan was up. And he's, I think, about to get loose again if the Braves can buy some time for him.
Rowan 0 for 3 lifetime against Gonzalez. 4-1 game now. We said at the time, Braves in the inning in which Scherholtz made that great diving catch in the 4th inning, couldn't get down a bunt. That cost them at least 1 run. You hope it doesn't cost them in this 8th inning tonight. For Aaron Rowan with a long ball would tie it up.
He's 4 for his last 40.
Mike thought the changeup was good enough. That's not as bad as Willie Taveras' slump. You saw him in the middle of that with the Reds earlier this year.
And Rowan's career pinch hit number is not very good either. 8 for 40. So all that adds up to need an out.
And what also worries you is, as accomplished a player as Rowan is, sooner or later those odds are going to change in his favor. You just hope it's not in this spot. Rowan was hit by a pitch in the series. It was his right forearm that caused him some problems. And as Joe mentioned earlier, he had to come out of the game when he had trouble throwing the baseball. But good enough to go tonight. Fisted back our way and fouled. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Phillies lost earlier. Braves trying to keep pace with the Cubs, who won, and gain more ground on the Giants in the wild card race. Rockies also were victorious today. They will be the wild card leader another day. Ground ball deep short. Escobar to a knee. Makes the play, and the side is retired. An infield hit scores 1 San Francisco run. 4-1 is your score late in Atlanta.
Men in Black 2, Thursday at 10 on Peachtree TV. Great movies every night.
Well, we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. A couple of defensive changes now for the San Francisco Giants. Andres Torres remains in the game and plays center field. Randy Wynn moves from center field to left field. He's driven in the lone Giants run. And on to pitch is left-hander Jeremy Affeldt. And he'll face the heart of the Atlanta order. McCann, Anderson, and Escobar, the first 2 Atlanta hitters, batting from the left side.
This guy's mighty tough on left-handers. I mean, you see his numbers overall, and they're very good. Maybe a few too many walks, but he can be awfully tough for guys like Brian.
So despite Affeldt being tough on lefties, is delighted that Lincecum's out of the game. Brian had an RBI single in the first inning, a thing of beauty over short, but since struck out twice against the departed Giant right-hand pitcher. Four more 2-out runs for Atlanta in this game. That ball driven down the left field line. Out of play, foul. The Giants, their woes continue. They've scored a grand total of 10 runs in 6 games on this road trip. Again, the Giants still hopeful of catching the Dodgers, although that's turning into a faint hope. They've got to pick it up. They head to Colorado for a date with the Rockies next. And McCann flips one into center. Torres got a good jump, 1 out. So Brian 1 for 4 with an RBI. It'll bring up Garrett Anderson 1 for 2 as he with a walk and a run scored. That walk, a critical play offensively in this game for Atlanta.
Huge. Giants will have Matt Cain starting that series tomorrow in Colorado, then Sanchez, then Sadowski. Matt Cain is 11-2.
Just off the plate, 1 ball and no strikes. Cardinals and Astros tied at 1 in the 6th. Nationals beat the Mets 3-1 tonight. Florida beat the Padres 5-0 out in San Diego. Reds and Dodgers at 10-10 tonight. Cincinnati can't buy a win at Dodger Stadium.
Baby, come on, Andy.
10 in a row, 11 in a row for the Reds out in Los Angeles.
Yeah, Homer Bailey plunked Manny Ramirez last night. His second at bat scared everybody in L.A. to death. X-rays were negative on his hand.
Rip, come on, Andy.
What really scared him is they thought they had to break out the Juan Pierrewood t-shirts again for a long period of time. But look for Manny to be all right. And the Dodgers certainly are a 9-game lead out west. 2-2.
Best team in baseball.
But like so many others, looking for help, looking for pitching. Dodgers starters don't work a lot of innings. Their bullpen works a ton of innings.
Sure do.
Yeah, they have a ton of young players at the major league level that would probably bring back a king's ransom, but that's the rub for any general manager. Do you break up the obviously great chemistry the Dodgers have for a pitching acquisition? They too have been linked to Roy Halladay, but
I don't know.
Don't know if they have the money to
if you got
add payroll.
If you've got an 8.5 game lead, first team to win 60 games, if you're in a big hurry to make any deals.
Well, that's true.
You might have a hole or two, but not at the expense of your prospects or farm system.
Yeah.
Only because you've got this huge lead at the moment.
But it's one thing to have a huge lead. It's another to have a realistic chance of getting through your league and winning the World Series. And the Dodgers haven't done that in 20 years. And so, as good as Clayton Kershaw and Chad Billingsley are, they're still young and inexperienced hurlers. A number 1 guy like a Roy Halladay would be a huge addition to their ball club.
Escobar, the next batter, just joined us. That's the big blow of the night. A 2-out, 3-run homer in the 3rd inning on Tim Lincecum. That made it 4-0. The Giants just got their first run in the 8th.
Anderson walks for the 2nd time in the game. Here is Escobar. Yunel 11 for 18, hitting 6th this year in just 5 games. Has 11 hits, 2 home runs, and 12 runs batted in. Spent most of the year hitting 2nd for the Braves team and was very productive there, but not nearly in a much smaller sample as devastating as he is right now. The reigning National League Player of the Week. Ground ball hits slowly towards short. They'll have to hurry to get this one. And they do. Very slick double play. Uribe to Downs to Ishikawa ends the Atlanta 8th. Last chance for the Giants. themselves a very nifty 6-1 homestand working with one more game left with the Giants. Rafael Soriano is on to pitch. As you see, Matt Diaz takes over for Atlanta in left field. He'll replace Garrett Anderson. And it's interesting how the Braves have worked the back end of their bullpen. You might recall early in the season, Bobby Cox had Mike Gonzalez as his ninth inning man, then would alternate Gonzalez or Soriano depending on the opponent's lineup in the ninth inning, meaning if it was predominantly left-handed, it would be Gonzalez to close. Well, those numbers have earned Soriano the ninth inning irrespective of the way the opposition sets up lefty or righty. And tonight pitches for his 14th save, and this is 44th appearance.
Yeah, just one blown save. His last 7 appearances at home, 7 innings pitched, no hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts.
And Pablo Sandoval greets him first in the ninth inning. There's no such thing as an easy save, but this chance to be the easiest. Chipper takes care of Sandoval on a bunt attempt. 1 out. He tried to throw a surprise party, but bunted it too hard, and that was the difference. 1 down.
And he was on the first pitch, of course.
Yeah.
Down by 3 in the ninth. Okay, I'm not going to swing, but I'll try to bunt. There's an old adage. When you're Sandoval's size and you try to bunt, somebody always out of the dugout yells, "Who's going to run for you?" Good play by Chipper nonetheless.
We have a designated hitter. Why not have a designated runner too? Here's Molina. He was the man that did most of the damage, if you want to call it that, against Jurgens. He had 2 of the 3 hits allowed by Jair in the game. A second inning rope was the last man Jurgens allowed until the 7th inning. At one point tonight, Jurgens retired 17 consecutive Giants hitters.
Speaking of retiring a bunch in a row, Rafael Soriano, 11 of his last 15 innings pitched. 11 out of 15 have been 1, 2, 3 innings. That's throwing strikes. That's making him put it in play. And that's being effective.
It looks like a completely different pitcher than he did last season when that elbow was bothering him. And that one a weak ground ball. Boy, Molina was bailing out in a big way. 2 outs. He's confident, and success breeds confidence and more success.
He has an amazing number that Hal Galima's looked up. Against the top 10 pitchers, against the top 10 hitters in batting average, he has not allowed a hit. Against the top 10 in home runs, he has not allowed a homer. Against the top 10 in RBIs, he has not allowed an RBI. He's at his best against the best. And there are those numbers at home in recent days.
Nate Scherholtz, the last hope. Strike at 94 and rising. Wicked slider.
Just challenging hitters.
I take that back. That was a fastball that backed up. Had a lot of movement on it. 0-2.
Brian wants this one down. You can see the target. Good pitch. Scherholtz has struck out 5 times in this series already, and his last time up against Jurgens swung at a bad pitch up.
Liner into center field keeps the game alive. So Scherholtz is 1 for 4 in the game. And Travis Ishikawa, with 1 hit in his last 14 at bats, is the Giants hitter.
Here's where another number comes into play for Soriano. With runners on base, he leads the majors in batting average against him. They are 4 for 60.
They'll allow Scherholtz to take second without a play. Typical defensive indifference, no steal. Line drive right field. Church can't get it. It drops in front. And around to score is Schierholtz. It's a 4-2 game. And the tying run comes to the plate for San Francisco.
Ball's hit hard. It looked like when Ryan went down to the slide to try to make sure he caught this, kind of overreached for it. Base hit an RBI for Ishikawa, his 30th. I think about 25 of those have come against Atlanta.
And a strike to Juan Uribe.
Remember, this guy just missed hitting one out his last time up. He can throw the top hand on the bat to get it out there on Soriano's fastball if he makes a mistake.
The 27th out. The toughest to get, no matter the opponent. Two.
Rafael has a little chat with himself as he walks around the mound here. His control has been impeccable all year, especially to the outside corner to right-handed hitters, and that's where McCann sets up.
Now the Giants down to their final strike.
I know you want to throw the slider, but fastball's so good. Let's see what he works in here.
High slider. And Uribe blown away. Soriano climbed the ladder, takes care of business, saves the game for the Braves, and their impressive run against the Giants.